Hello Bravepipers. This is the third video on using the practice chanter. These are bite-sized digestible videos intended to get you up and practicing on the practice chanter as quickly as possible, but also while doing it the right way. We're not rushing into anything. We've done one video on finding your low G, wiggling your fingers to get it right and blowing a steady tune. And we've also done a video on A and B, where we introduced the notes low A and B into your G practice. This third video is going to cover G, A, and B, but it's going to focus on C and D as well. And that is it for your lower hand in terms of learning the initial notes. Once you can do the initial notes, you can start to do some pretty cool little flourishes that we'll get to eventually. But the lower hand is your foundation, and if you are not mastery level on G, A, and B, you want to slow down, go back to those videos, and get those to the point where you can do them 100% of the time, or else you're going to set yourself up for frustration and having to go back and relearn some things before you move on to the upper hand. Okay, today we've got our reed, and we've got our practice chanter, and we have our scrap. This is the tartan scrap that I bought when I was in Edinburgh. It's the one on my nice kilt. Remember that when we assemble our chanter, we do it slowly and carefully because we do not want to damage the reed. We don't pinch the reed, we kind of grip it firmly but lightly from the base, and we just seat it well. We don't have to jam it down there. Alright, this is fragile. It's imperative that we take very good care of it. Then we take our air chamber, the top part, I really don't know what this is called. It's going to be called something slightly different every video probably, and we're just going to cap it over the top there. Okay, then we use our thumb to guide it down. After a longer practice, you may notice that this is harder to remove. That's because the water, the spit, is absorbed in the hemp down here, and it swells. If that's the case, there are a couple different things you can do. You could let it sit for a few hours. That'll help dry it out. Or you can very carefully use your thumb to push up and remove it slowly. That will really help it dry out quickly. That's why we want to disassemble it after every practice session. Okay. For today, you may end up having a sore hand because you're going to be switching C to D to C to D, and that's a different hand movement than most people are used to. So at first, you're going to want to finger walk these. Okay. We find flat fingers. We find our G, just like this. Okay. Then we do our A, our B. And here is where we're going to start off. We are on B, so our index and ring fingers are lifted up nice and high so that they're not interfering for now. And then the movement that we are going to do involves your pinky and your middle finger. And we're going to flip those like this. All right. So B, these two fingers are up. C, B, C. Before you bother blowing, my recommendation is that you do this activity. Treat it like it's a seesaw, okay, with your ring finger as the fulcrum. And just get used to making that movement. Don't race. Just do it well. Okay, what we don't want is to have some weird bouncing on any of the other fingers. We want to just focus on moving our hands this way. By taking the time to build this reflex up, to build this muscle memory up, you're avoiding sore lips while you practice and get fuzzy and struggle with this and the frustration, but you are also cutting ahead of some of the bad habits you might develop if you were to jump right into blowing. I would recommend you do this for like 5 or 10 minutes. Just watch another video on YouTube or something, come back once you feel like you've got this ready. And when you do, we're going to plant it firmly. Remember, we're using this to give yourself a foundation. We're not death gripping on the chanter. We're just holding with as much pressure as is required to make the tone sound good. B, C. The danger in C is that there's not a whole lot of tone difference between if you were to just pinch the D up here and not putting anything back down. Note, there's not a lot of tone difference, but it is important that we follow the correct form because when we switch to our D, it does begin to matter. This pinky really serves more as a foundation for moving to D and then being able to get back down quickly and effectively and while sounding good. That is why it is so important to do this slowly and by rote so that you memorize it well. So we're going to start on a low G, and I'm going to play up to C, and then I'll do a D. I'll pause slightly on C. You don't need to follow me along at this speed right now, but this is the eventual goal. Start with your low G, get your fingers set, wiggle them if you gotta. Did you see what I did to get to D? I lifted my index finger up. That's it. It's a simple movement. It's as simple as A from G down here. It's a one-finger movement. But if this finger is off this hole, then when you put it back down, you're going to miss. And now you're completely off. That is why it's important to follow the correct finger procedure. As you do this, as you practice these hands, what is likely to happen is you are going to pinch your thumb and your index finger here. You're probably going to struggle going from C to B. You may also struggle going from D to C, and this pinky is probably going to get tired. All of that is okay. That's why, though, if you want to avoid some of the hand cramps, just be gentle on yourself. There's no reason to really grip in there. You know, if you can see your dimpling muscle there at the corner of your hand, then you're pinching way too hard. When you can play those 4 notes consecutively and with little to no conscious effort and with no buzzing or squeaking, then you are ready to move on to the upper hand. And that is where we're going to introduce transference noises as a concern for you to be listening for between E and D and D and E, the next note. That's going to be for the next video. In this video we covered G, A, B, which you should be very familiar with at this point, and also we introduced C, which are these 2 fingers up, and D, which are these 3 fingers up. And you need to stop and really make sure that you are putting your pinky down when you go from B to C. I recommend lots of finger walking at this stage. I also recommend that instead of moving right on to E, F, G, and A on the upper hand, that you stop and you actually do our hand cramp warm-up routine and make that part of your daily practice from now on. That is going to get your fingers warmed up, it's going to get your muscle memory carved into your head a little better, and also it's going to make sure that you're practicing in an effective way. That's it for this video. If you have any comments, please leave a comment, I guess. If you have any questions that you're not sure about, leave a comment. I'll do my best to get back to you and to hook you up with resources if I need to. And I hope you're enjoying the bagpipe. It's a lot of fun to be speaking to you and to be helping you learn.